Okay, let us complete the chapter PGBP today. Let us wind this chapter up. We have covered almost every provision of the chapter PGBP. I will discuss now with you one numerical question, that's it. And then we will move to the next concept. Section. Now let me revise this PGBP in within 2 to 3 minutes as per this section with the help of sections. Section 28 deals with introduction, which incomes are taxable under PGBP. Section 29 deals with computation, how to compute the income. Section 30 to 35 DDA, it tells you those expenses which are allowed as valid expenditures. Section 36, it gives you those expenditures which are allowed as valid expenditures. 37 subsection 1, expenses which are allowed as valid expenses. Section 37 subsection 2b, expenses which are allowed as valid expenses. These four categories of valid expenses covered under section 30 to 35 DDA, 36, 37 subsection 1 and 37 2b, these have to pass the test of which sections? Disallowed sections. Section 40 clause A, section 40 clause B and section 40 capital A. If those expenditures are valid, they have to be further checked whether they are satisfying the conditions of 40 clause A, 40 clause B and 40 capital A. Next point, those valid expenses also need to satisfy the section conditions of section 43B, because some of the expenditures are allowed as deduction only on actual payment basis, which is written in section 43B. So if you can easily learn the chapter PGBP with the help of this structure in your mind, section 30 to 35 DDA, section 36, section 37 subsection 1 and section 37 2b, these four category of sections deals with expenditures which can be shown on the debit side. Only those expenditures can be shown on the debit side which are covered under these sections. These four sections valid expenses have to pass the test of section 40 clause A, section 40 clause B, section 40 capital A and section 43B. That's it. If you know these category of expenses or allowed, disallowed, whatever is the case, then PGBP is very easy. Otherwise it will be a little bit tough. I told you in the last class how will you get such questions. You will be having a P&L account given to you in the examination at any level. That P&L account is the P&L account which is prepared by following the provisions of Companies Act. When the same P&L account goes to the tax department, you have to simply apply the rules of tax department. And we will simply rectify that P&L account, or it's nothing but just like a reconciliation of cash and passbook. That's it. Reconciliation of P&L account expenses etc. with cost expenses. If you remember cost sheet etc. If you don't remember, you can forget it. The purpose is to show you that for PGBP purposes of tax department, there is no need to prepare fresh P&L account. If already you have the P&L account, you simply rectify it. So let me discuss one question with you. Please take the screenshot of this question. Only this question I will discuss. Please take the screenshot of this question. If you've taken, kindly tell me.
Taken, sir.
Okay. Now next page of the same question. This part. It is your 2018 examination question. So take this additional information. Above the solution. Till this point, please have a screenshot of this.
Done, sir.
Okay. Now let me discuss this case. So it is basically your examination case of 2018. This is the only case I will discuss. It is given on page 6.52 in my book. Page 6.52, question number 6. Let me read this question for you. Miss X, 40 years, a resident individual, furnishes the following information for the previous year 1920. P&L account for the year ended 31st March 20. Debit side, purchases, salary, bonus and commission. Household expense. Can you sense some difficulty here? Household expenses. Is it correct? Household expenses. Is it correct that household expenses are shown on the debit side? Is it correct?
No, sir.
No, because household expenses cannot be shown on the debit side of P&L account. Why? Can you tell me why it cannot be shown? Why it cannot be shown? Anyone who can tell me why it cannot be shown? Because of section 37 subsection 1. Do you remember section 37 subsection 1 condition? All expenses can be allowed as valid expenses if conditions of section 37 subsection 1 are satisfied. What are those conditions? That expenditure should not be that which is covered under section 30 to 36. क्या ना भी ऑनलाइन लेक्चर में आपसे 9 बजे की बात कर सकते हैं कोई भी हो. So if you remember section 37 subsection 1, all expenditures can be shown on the debit side of P&L account provided section 37 subsection 1 conditions are satisfied. And what are those conditions? First point, it should not be a capital expenditure. It should not be that expenditure which is covered under section 30 to 36. It should not be personal expenditure. Do you remember that point, that line, one condition of section 37 subsection 1? It should not be personal expenditure. Do you remember that? Kindly raise your hand. It should not be personal expenditure. Do you remember that? And yes, in my case, it is the personal expenditure. So because this expenditure does not satisfy the conditions of section 37 subsection 1, it is invalid expenditure. So what I will do, I will add it back. When I will rectify my P&L account, I will add it back. Next point, advertisement expenses. Genuine expense, no problem. Every businessman needs the advertisement expenses, so it's correct. Depreciation, I need to check. Is this depreciation equal to depreciation which is calculated as per section 32 or not? This is what I will check. Gift to customers, genuine expense, no problem. Every businessman gives gifts to customer to increase the sales, so it's a genuine expenditure. Income tax, can you tell me the treatment of income tax? It is shown on the debit side of P&L account. Income tax, what will be the treatment? Can you tell me for income tax what will be the treatment?
Sir, it's not allowed as deduction.
Why?
So section 40
Clause
A.
Subclause.
I don't remember that, sir.
Subclause 2, I think. Subclause 2, I think, but that is not necessary. But at least you know that it is disallowed as per section 40 clause A. I will add it back. It is disallowed as per section 40 clause A. Donations to National Defence Fund 2500. Can you tell me the treatment of this point? Donations to National Defence Fund. Anyone who can tell me what will happen with this donation to National Defence Fund? Is it a business expenditure? Is it a business expenditure? Is donation for the National defense fund, is it a part of my business?
No, sir.
No.
No,
No.
sir.
So I will add it back. Why? Because this does not satisfy the conditions of section 37 subsection 1. Why I am saying always 37 subsection 1? Why? Because 30 to 35 DDA is having those expenditures which have their own names. This expenditure is not covered in under that category. Section 36 also constitutes those expenditures which are having their own name. This expenditure is not covered in that category. Then what is left? Only section 37 subsection 1 and section 37 subsection 2b. 37 2b I have not yet discussed, ignore it for the time being. So it is not satisfying the conditions of section 37.1 because it is not a part of business expenditure. It is not necessary to run a business. So I will add it back. But do you know what benefit is allowed for this point? I will add it back because it is not my business expenditure, but one benefit is available under the taxation laws. What is that benefit for donation towards National Defence Fund? Can you think of the benefit which is allowed under Tax Act? For this amount, I will get a deduction under section 80G. Briefly, I have discussed this earlier. I will get a deduction under section 80G for this donation, but it is not a part of business expenditure, so I have to add it. Next point. Life insurance premium on life of assessee. Can you tell me the treatment of this point? Life insurance premium on life of assessee. Can you tell me the treatment? Anyone who can tell me? Life insurance premium on life of the assessee. Anyone who can tell me this treatment? Is it correctly shown on the debit side? This is the first question. Is it correctly shown on the debit side?
No, sir.
Why?
Sir, because it's not related to the business.
Because it is the personal expenditure. So as per section 37 subsection 1, it is disallowed. Point clear? I cannot allow this as expenditure. So it is added back. It will be added back. But what will be the benefit of this? There is one benefit available. Can you tell me what is the benefit of this expenditure? I will
So
get.
it will be allowed as deduction under section 80C.
Very good. For this amount, I will get a deduction under section 80C. I have discussed this earlier. Anyhow, provision for bad debt. Can you tell me the treatment of this point? Provision for bad debt. Provision.
It will
Can you
be
tell me
disallowed
why?
because provision isn't actually an expenditure. It's just expected.
Yeah, so every provision is disallowed, but some provisions can be allowed. Can you tell me those provisions which can be allowed?
For approved
Provident
gratuity
fund.
fund.
A provision for approved gratuity fund, approved or unapproved, because unapproved gratuity fund is also allowed in some cases. So you can say that if this provision is for gratuity fund, then it can be allowed. I have to check section 40A subsection 7. Second, can you tell me another provision which can be allowed? Any other provision which can be allowed? All provisions of section 43B. All provisions of section 43B. Because if you remember, as per section 43B, deduction is allowed even if you pay the amount till 31st July 2020. So if in the P&L account, if it is written provision, that means it is not yet paid till 31st March. Maybe it is paid next day, 1st April. So that is allowed as deduction under section 43B. So provisions of those expenses which are written in section 43B and provision of gratuity fund, which is as per 40A subsection 7, can be allowed provided conditions are satisfied. Otherwise, every provision for your level is disallowed. So I will add it back. Next point, contribution to National Laboratory for Applied Scientific Research. Can you tell me the treatment of this point? Contribution to National Laboratory for Applied Scientific Research. Can you tell me the treatment of this point? Can you think of this treatment? Do you remember?
Deduction will be allowed up to 150%.
Yes, this is scientific research. If you remember, it is an expenditure which is covered under section 35, and within section 35 there were 5 or 6 categories. revenue expenditure, capital expenditure, contribution to outsiders, contribution to universities, IITs, etc. Contribution for in-house research and development, contribution to national laboratories. In national laboratories, what you donate multiplied by 150%, that is allowed as expenditure. So do you know what correction I need to make here? I need to make here. Can you tell me what correction I need to make? I contributed only 1 lakh and I have debited only 1 lakh. I should have debited 1,50,000, not only 1 lakh rupees. Are you getting my point? So I will further deduct 50,000 when I will rectify my P&L account. Please raise your hand if you have understood this point of scientific research, which I have just told to you. Okay, next point. So now can you sense what type of questions can be asked in the examination? They will give you P&L account. You have to learn all the sections of PGBP. You have to learn all the sections of PGBP which will help you to rectify this P&L account. Next, expenditure. Employer's contribution towards RPF. Can you tell me the treatment of this point? Employer's contribution to RPF. Employer has contributed in employees RPF 20,000. Is it allowed? Is it correctly shown on the debit side? Anyone? Is it correctly shown on the debit side? Anyone who can tell me this?
Sir,
Yes, sir.
deduction under section 36.
Yes, it is correctly shown because if you remember section 36, subsection 1, clause 4, I think. Clause 4, I think. I'm not sure. I think it is clause 4. Let me see my book. I think it is clause 4. I think it is clause 4 or clause 4A. 4A, shayad. It is, I think, clause 4. It is allowed. There is no problem. It is allowed expenditure. There is no problem. Then, now you come to the credit side. Sales, no problem, correctly shown. Bad debt recovered earlier allowed. Bad debt recovered allowed in earlier years by the assessing officer, 2,000 rupees. Is it correctly credited? This is my question. Think logically. Is it correctly credited or it is wrongly credited here? Is it my business income? What do you say about this treatment? Bad debt recovered allowed in earlier years by the assessing officer. What do you say about this? Anyone who can tell me this?
Yes, sir, it is an income.
Why?
Sir, because the bad debts, if it has been allowed by the assessing officer in the previous year, so once we have received the deduction in its respect and now it has been recovered, so it must be treated as the income.
Yes, exactly. Because earlier, maybe around 5 years ago, 10 years ago, maybe I have shown this on the debit side, 2 bad debts. Department says no problem, genuine. Because I was expecting or I have written off that bad debt. But now if I'm getting it recovered, government says now pay the tax then. Because earlier we have debited your P&L account. Now if it is recovered, we will credit the P&L account. So 2000 is correctly shown as business income, no problem. Very good. Next point, interest on debentures of Reliance Industries Limited. Can you think logically? Is it correctly shown here? Anyone who can tell me this?
No, sir.
No,
Why?
sir.
Sir, because it is
Why?
the income of other sources.
Very good. It is an income from other sources. So it is an income, but it is not a PGBP income. So first I will deduct when I will compute PGBP. But when my intention is to compute total income, I will add it under the head income from other sources. So this is the way to rectify my P&L account. This is the benefit of learning PGBP, that you know how to proceed with the real life cases. Refund of income tax paid in advance, 1,000 rupees. What is the treatment logically? Refund of income tax paid in advance. Can you think of this treatment?
Sir, it should not be treated as an income.
Why?
Sir, because the refund of the income tax received, it is not an income under the Income Tax Act.
Very good, because it was my amount. Earlier I paid some tax as advance. Now government is simply giving it back to me. So why it is an income? I am getting my money back. That's it. It is not my income. It is not at all my income. So it is wrongly credited. I will remove it from here. Short-term profit on sale of investment. It is what? Short-term capital gain, STCG. Why it is shown here? Remove it. Gift received from father. It's not a business income. It can be income from other sources. I have not yet discussed with you the provisions of gift, but one thing is sure, it is not just because I received a gift I cannot show this as my business income. So this is how I will correct my P&L account. So let us start solving the question. Let us start solving the case. I simply discussed P&L account with you. The main purpose always should be that you should start from the additional information. So now I will stop sharing the question and I will come to the Word file. I hope you have taken this screenshot. The screenshots are available with you, and let me directly open the Word file. So is this Word file visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what was the question? If you remember the question says compute her taxable income for the assessment year 2021. The lady is Miss X. Computation of, this is the presentation, taxable income of for the assessment year 2020-21. Now leave some space blank. Why? Because in this question PGBP can be computed in two different ways. First, applying the normal provision, and second, applying the provisions of section 44 AD. Because if you remember in this question, that assessee is a resident individual and that turnover does not exceed 2 crore rupees. So I will write note 1. Every question has to be checked. Computation of PGBP income as per the normal provisions. From net profit as per P&L account. How much is the net profit given? So you should check your question. मेरे पास तो मेरी बुक है तो मैं वहीं से चेक कर लूँगा, आप अपना स्क्रीनशॉट से चेक करें कितना है इसमें नेट प्रॉफिट. How much is the profit? So the net profit in this case is 5,53,000. Always the next heading, expenses disallowed. Always you should start from adjustments. I discussed only P&L account with you. I have not done the treatment in the solution. That was only the discussion. In reality, I will never see P&L account first because I need to check adjustments first. Now, what is written in additional information? Please read yourself. Salary, bonus, and commission include. Now, first check. Is salary, bonus, and commission given on the P&L account debit side? Answer is yes. How much salary, bonus, and commission is given in the P&L account? Can you tell me how much amount of salary, bonus, and commission given in the P&L account? Can you tell me how much is the amount?
4,40,000.
Yes. So additional information says that this 4,40,000 includes what? Salary to proprietor 50,000. Now tell me, salary to proprietor. That means Miss X has herself claimed a salary of 50,000 in the P&L account. Is it correct or not? Is it correct? Anyone who can tell me this point? Is it correctly shown? Himanshu, can you tell me the treatment of this point? Is salary to proprietor shown on the debit side? Is it correct? Logically, can I show it?
No, sir.
Why?
Sir, it is disallowed.
Why?
Sir, salary to proprietor, right? Because, sir, the income tax department says that the owner is taking money like to his own home. So because of that, like, why should they treat it as an expense?
Yes. So income tax department doesn't say anything. Act simply says under section 37 subsection 1 that it should be for the business, it should not be personal. And if you remember section 36, salary to employees word is written. You yourself are not the employee in your own business, so you cannot charge any salary for your own work done. You cannot charge any interest for your own capital invested as an owner businessman. Point clear or no? So it is wrongly shown. I will add it back. Salary to self not allowed. Add it back. How much? 50,000. Next point. Bonus paid to employee. Now the same 4,40,000 of salary, bonus and commission includes bonus paid to employees on 2nd November 30,000. What is the treatment? Anyone who can tell me that to the employees bonus is paid 30,000 on which date? 2nd November 20. Anyone who can think of this point? Anyone who can throw a light on this treatment? Bonus to employees paid to the employees on 2nd November. Anyone? Anyone who can tell me this or can think of telling? Anyone who remember this point? Which section I will apply? Anyone? Do you remember section 43B? 43B. If you remember 43B, which expenses are covered? Railway assets expenses, interest on loan, bonus and commission to employees, contribution towards provident funds, leave encashment. So it is bonus to employees. This bonus to employees is of which year expense? Can you tell me it is of which year? It is of previous year 1920. Why you can say it is of 1920? Because it is shown in the P&L account of 1920. Since it is shown in the P&L account of 1920, it means what? It is related to 1920. Is it allowed? Answer is yes, it is allowed. But since this expenditure is covered under section 43B, it has to be paid actually. If it is of 1920, it would have been allowed in 1920 had it been paid till 31st March 20, or if not till 31st March 20, at least till due date of filing return of income, that is till 31st July 20. But unfortunately, it was not paid till 31st July 20. So will it be allowed? Kindly tell me, will it be allowed? Answer is no. As per section 43B, it cannot be allowed in 1920. But yes, it will be allowed in the year in which you actually pay. So when I actually paid in 2021, so it will be allowed in the next year, but it will not be allowed in this year because of section 43B. If you have understood the concept, please raise your hand. If you have understood the concept, please raise your hand.
Sir, can you please explain this point once more?
Yeah, can anyone explain this point? Anyone who can explain? Vaishali, can you explain this point?
Yes, sir.
Please explain.
So, bonus and commission should have been allowed as deduction in this year, but because of section 43, it says that it covers some.
43B. 43B.
Yes, sir. Section 43B, it covers some expenses that are allowed as deduction only if they are paid. So since it's not paid in previous year 1920, it will not be allowed in this year and will be allowed in the next previous year when it is paid.
No. Since it is neither paid in 1920, that is till 31st March 20, nor it is paid till 31st July 20. That is why it is not allowed in 1920. Clear?
Yes.
Got it, sir.
Okay, so in this year I will add it back because of section 43B. Now see, this is where the benefit when you start telling something yourself, because I can correct your language. Bonus to employees. Because of, sorry, bonus to employees, हाँ बिल्कुल. Section 43, because of this it is disallowed. 30,000. Salary paid to brother. Can anyone tell me the treatment? Salary paid to brother 20,000. 5,000 found excessive. Can anyone tell me the treatment of this point? Can I pay salary to my brother? This is my question. Can I pay salary to my brother? You please tell me. Anyone who can tell me. Can I pay salary to my brother as a businessman? Can this lady pay salary to her brother? Anyone who can tell me in yes or no? Can this lady pay?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Why not? Why not brother can be an employed in my business? So salary to brother is no problem. Do you know what is the problem? Problem is if you are making the payment to your relatives which is unreasonable or excessive than the market value, market rate, then that excess is the problem as per section 40 capital A subsection 2. 5,000 will be added back because of section 40A subsection 2. Please raise your hand if you got this point. Salary payment to relatives if unreasonable will be disallowed. Please raise your hand if this point is clear. If not clear, kindly don't raise. So add back. Payment to relatives. This is the heading. Section 40 how much? Only 5,000. Then advertisement expenses include. Now how much is advertisement expense shown in the P&L account debit side? 1,30,000. There is no problem. It is correct. But additional information says that this advertisement includes 40,000 which is paid through bearer check. Now can you sense a problem here? Advertisement expense is no problem, but 40,000 is paid through bearer check, blank check, or without account pay check, you can say. What is the treatment of this point now?
Sir, it will not be allowed as deduction.
Why?
Sir, because if any amount is paid in excess of 10,000 in cash or in bearer check, so it is not allowed as a deduction.
So 100% is not allowed.
Yes, sir.
That means entire amount will be added back. Payment in cash. How much? 40,000. 40A. There is no need to write these sections, but I am writing here so that you learn. Otherwise, for examination, there is no need. You can ignore these sections. Next one, depreciation under section 32 is 40,000. And how much depreciation is as per the accounting system? 32. But as per section 30, sorry, 32 yeah, will be. Depreciation as per accounting records comes out to be 32,000, which is debited in the P&L account. As per section 32, it should be 40,000. So I have written off less amount. So I will do what? Excess written off. So I will write less depreciation. I should have debited by 40,000 my P&L account, but I have debited only by 32. So 8,000. No issue. Deduct it now. All adjustments are clear, and now you come back to the P&L account. Purchases, no problem. Salary, bonus, and commission clear. Household expense, add back. Add back because it does not satisfy conditions of section 37 subsection 1. Add back. It is my personal expenditure. Add back. 2,500. Advertisement done, depreciation done, gift to customer, no problem. Income tax, add back. It's not. It is a disallowed expense under section 40 clause A. $19,000. Donation to National Defence Fund, add back. It is not a business expenditure. How much? 2,500. But for this, I will get a deduction. Can you tell me which deduction? So I'm writing here above when I will compute my final income. Can you tell me how much will be the deduction and which section? It is deduction under section. Anyone who can tell me? G.
80G.
Yes. And it is allowed 50. It is allowed 100%. So whatever is donation into 100% is your deduction. 2,500 rupees. If you don't remember, no issue, it will take time to learn. Next point, life insurance premium on life of assessee. It's a personal expenditure. LIP, life insurance premium, it's personal. It is not allowed. But do you remember, I will get this as a deduction under section 80C, less deduction under section 80C, 6,000. No, 2,000. Next one, contribution to national laboratory, less. I have written, I have shown less amount. I should have shown how much. Contribution to national laboratory. I have shown only 1 lakh. I should have shown 1,50,000. So excess you show it right now. So in reality it should have been 150. But since I have shown already 1 lakh, excess I will show now, which is 50,000. Employer's contribution to RPF, correct, no problem. Credit side, sales, correct. Bad debt recovered, correct. Interest on debenture, make a heading. Less incomes not related to PGBP. So that is interest on debentures. How much? 25,000. But do you know, when I will compute my final PGBP income here, because this is the main format above. This depends upon notes. Here, after this, I will add somewhere income from other sources. And here I will show interest on debentures. I hope you are getting the presentation also. Refund of income tax paid in advance. Refund of income tax paid in, it is not at all an income, so I cannot show this in this heading. Logically it will be wrong. I have to separately show it. Less refund of income tax. How much? I cannot show this in the heading income not related to PGBP, because at least those are incomes. It is not at all an income. This is not at all an income. So I am showing it separately, 1,000 rupees. You have to simply apply your logic. If you remember the structure of PGBP with the help of sections 30 to 35 DDA, 36, 37 subsection 1, 37 subsection 2B, 40 clause A, 40 clause B, 43B, 44 AD, AE, AF. Then this, if the structure is clear, then you can easily attempt the question logically as well as conceptually. Short-term profit on sale of investment, deducted. It is not my PGBP income. How much? 31. But it is an income. So when I will show my final income above, here I will write short-term capital gain, 31,000. This is the benefit of leaving some space, because you can do both the treatments at both the places. Gift from father, it is an income. It is an income, but not of PGBP. So first you deduct it. First you deduct it. How much? 22. And then you have to show this as income from other source. Gift from father, but it is tax free. It is an income. It is an income, but it is exempt. I will discuss this in the chapter other sources later on. So I will write exempt, but it is an income. You cannot say that it is not an income. It is an income. It is tax free right now. Maybe tomorrow government says that from next year, for example, government says that it will be taxable. So you cannot ignore this amount. You have to write this under the head income from other sources. Write it as exempt. That's it. Question is over now. Now let me see PGBP. Now can you tell me the total? How much is final PGBP income as per normal provision? Do the total, please. The total comes out to be. Kindly do the total yourself so that I can check whether there is any mistake in my calculation or not. Oh, 1 point is left, I think. Provision for bad debt I failed to show. Can you see this provision for bad debt? I failed to write provision for bad debt. provision for bad debt. 2000. I failed to write it. I forgot to write. Now, can you tell me how much is this amount? One lakh 53,000. Total also. There are chances that my calculations are wrong. Can be wrong. The way of good presentation. 648. PGBP. Are you also getting the same answer? Please check the total yourself. Are you also getting the same answer? PGBP as per normal provision. But note 2. Note 2. What is note 2? Computation of PGBP taxation. Remember section 44 AD. Since my turnover does not exceed 2 crore, I am a resident individual and my turnover does not exceed 2 crore. 1572 into multiplied by how much? 1572 multiplied by how much? 8%? 8% or 6%? Because assuming it is cash basis. 125,760. Now which option is better? Because it is better by the it is better to apply what? Normal provisions or presumptive taxation? Or AD.
Presumptive.
Okay, so I will show my PGBP income as 125,760. 120. This is what the point is. Note 2. 125,760. Now the question is over. After this, I can say it is my gross total income plus 31 plus 25, 181,760 less deductions, and this is the total income. Some questions. Now, any problem, please ask. Otherwise, raise your hand. If the question is clear till this point, please raise your hand. Please raise your hand if the question is clear. Okay. Now, one additional information I would like to give you here. It is not that we always take the decision on the basis of presumptive taxation. With presumptive taxation, so many limitations also come. Do you know the limitation? But in case, better to apply this section, but in this case, she cannot opt the income. What is the limitation here? For the next 5 years, as per the normal provision. Do you remember this point? That if she has chosen section 44 AD for any year, for the next 5 years, she cannot compute the income as per normal provisions. And if she computes the PGBP in any of the 5 years, as per the normal provisions, and she cannot opt for section 44 AD for next 5 years from the year in which opted for normal provisions. Do you remember this point? Please raise your hand if you remember this point. Please raise your hand if you remember this point. That if she opts in the next 5 years normal provision basis, then there is no problem, she can opt. But then for the next further 5 years, she cannot opt section 44 AD. This is the point. So that is why so many times decisions are not taken only on which option shows less income. It is possible that because of this limitation, I want to apply normal provision and I am willing to show, rather than this, I am willing to show 5,69,000 as the income. It is also a possibility. Answer depends upon your assumption, what you want to say. So just because on the basis of tax minimum total income of PGBP, I cannot take the decision so many times. So you should remember that you have to show normal provision as well as 44 AD, but then decision is yours based on your assumption that whether you want to apply for 44 AD or whether you want to apply normal provision, because it is not the compulsion to apply 44 AD, it's choice based. So I have taken 125 760. If someone takes 569, that is also correct. Kindly raise your hand if you got the point. Kindly raise your hand if you got the point.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, can you please explain the deduction taken under section 80C? What was it?
Life insurance premium. Life insurance policy premiums taken on the life of the assessee, spouse and children is allowed as deduction under section 80C. That's it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Is this clear to everyone? The option which I have discussed, that I can choose 44 AD or I can choose normal provision. Just because the income is less under 44 AD, it's not necessary that I have to choose it. It is my choice. Is it clear? Shall I proceed now? Please lower your hand and then raise your hand if you think that I should proceed now. If the question is clear, please lower your hand and then raise your hand again that I should proceed. So my PGBP is over. My PGBP is over. I have discussed one numerical. Now you can attempt even 100 numericals. Practice is practice you can do, or otherwise if your theoretical concepts are strong, there is no need to revise 100 or 200 numericals of this same chapter. Conceptually you must be strong. If you are strong conceptually, then it does not matter which question is this. But if you are strong only question wise, then you will not be able to attempt each and every question. Concepts should be strong and let any case come in real life. Now let us have 5 minutes break. Then within PGBP, I will discuss another case where P&L account is not given, cash account is given. That is another case. So let me take a break of 5 minutes. Let us meet after 5 minutes. So let us come back. Please lower your hands. निधि, निधि तुम्हारा फोन है? तुम्हारा फोन आया। Can you see this website?
Yes, sir.
Now within PGBP, let me discuss one section 145. Section 145. Method of accounting. Section 145, method of accounting, and see what is written. 145 subsection 1. Income chargeable under the head PGBP or income from other sources shall, subject to the provisions of subsection 2, be computed in accordance with either cash or mercantile system of accounting regularly employed by the assessee. Now there are 5 heads of income: salary, house property, PGBP, capital gain, other sources. In PGBP as well as in other sources, assessee has the freedom to compute the income either on cash basis or on accrual basis. Why? Because of section 145. It's my choice under PGBP and income from other sources. Only in these two heads, as per section 145, Act has given me the power to decide whether I want to compute my PGBP income or other sources income on accrual basis, where I will record the income when it is accrued and I will record the expenses when it is due, or cash basis, where I will record the income when it is received actually, and when I will record the expenses when these are paid actually. Now the question which I discussed just now, that was P&L account. I didn't know whether that P&L account was cash or mercantile basis. So if nothing is mentioned, what normally we assume? Can you tell me what normally we assume? That P&L account is based on what basis? What is my normal assumption? Cash basis or
Accrual
mercantile?
basis.
Accrual
Mercantile.
basis. Accrual basis. Very good. So normally if nothing is mentioned, we have to assume that this P&L account is based on accrual basis or mercantile basis. But I have an option to compute the income under cash basis also if assessee wants. It depends what books of account assessee has been maintaining regularly. Now I will discuss now one question of PGBP where cash account is given. I have discussed one case where P&L account is given, and if P&L account is given, it is assumed that it is accrual basis. So let me discuss a case where cash account is given and question says compute the income. So if cash account is given, then I have to compute the PGBP income on cash basis. Very simple. So let me discuss a case with you. After this, our chapter PGBP will be over. And Ekta, you please, you have my phone. Do you have my phone number, Ekta? Ekta, do you have my phone number?
No, sir.
So you take my phone number and then I will send you a link. You please be added in the WhatsApp group so that you can get the information of these extra classes regularly. Okay, after the class, you take the number, or let me write the number on the Word file, and you send me your number. I will share a link of the WhatsApp group which has been created.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Okay. हेलो यार, मेरी एक्स्ट्रा क्लास चल रही है, बहुत ज़्यादा बुरा हाल चल रहा है। एक्स्ट्रा क्लास है मेरे पास ना, अभी मैं आपसे बात करूँगा 9:30 के आसपास। ठीक है, अभी थोड़ा ना वो लोड ज़्यादा चल रहा है, सुबह लेक्चर्स ट्रेनिंग वाले ना रेगुलर है। लेट मी कॉल यू बैक। So you send me a message on this number of mine. I will add you in this group. Now let me discuss one case with you. So that case is case. Can you see the Word file or my book? What you can see on your screen? What is visible on your screen? What is visible on your screen?
Sir, none of
Sir,
them.
What is visible on your screen?
Sir, nothing is visible.
Okay. So let me discuss a case. Case 3. Please take the screenshot of this page. So I'll discuss now with you case 3. Case 3. As you can see, it is a cash receipt and payment account. Take the snap of case 3. Take and kindly inform so that I can show you the next screen. You have to take the screenshot of case 3. We will discuss this case. After this, the PGBP will be over, 100% over.
Taken, sir.
Okay, next page. This is also your 2012 examination question. But of course, modified. I have modified the questions, adding some new provisions, good points, removed some irrelevant points, removed the mistakes, and rectified it as per the latest year. Kindly take this photo and then we will start solving the question. When it is taken, kindly inform.
Taken, sir.
Okay. So let me share the Word file and let us solve this question. After this, the PGBP will be over. In the next class, we will start partnership firm. We will complete partnership firm in 2 classes because that is nothing but entire PGBP. Only one section will be new, which is section 40 closed B. Otherwise, entire PGBP is there in the partnership firm, and you will be having a numerical of around 15 marks from the partnership firm. Ekta, have you taken my mobile number? Have you noted down my mobile number?
Yes, sir.
This case. क्या चल रहा है हुआ कुछ?
मतलब फाइनल के एग्जाम चल रहे हैं, सेकंड ईयर भी थोड़ा सा डाउट मेकिंग हो सकती है क्योंकि वो एकेडमिक और प्रोफेशनल डिग्री का चक्कर आता है।
तो फर्स्ट ईयर भी हो सकता है।
मतलब फर्स्ट ईयर तो दूर था, एक सर से बात करके कह देते हैं भाई एग्जाम होएंगे।
It is solution of case 3 given on page 647 of this book. Now let me read this case to you. I hope that case is visible on your screen. Let me show that on your screen first. Y, 48 years, a tax consultant who maintains books of account on cash basis. Again, आप एक word cash basis. Furnishes the following particulars of his income for the previous year ended 31st March 20. Receipt and payment account. So now there is no P&L account given. There is receipt and payment account. That means it is cash account. Opening balance of cash. Fees from clients. Of 1920 year, the fees received is 10 lakh 60, and for last year fees 45,000 is received. Present from clients, gift from client for 20,000. Loan from clients 50. Purchase of furniture 28. Car expense, office expense, salary to staff. Debit side of this cash account, loan from PPF. Credit side, office rent, income tax penalty, contribution to PPF. Then something is written, balance carried down. And some additional information written. And the last line of the question says, determine the total income and tax liability of Y for the assessment year 2021. Now, since I'm a tax consultant, so it is my professional income. So that means I have to apply, or I have to compute PGBP income. This is sure. When I got to know that I have to compute PGBP income, so the next question arises in my mind. Always next question should arise in my mind. On what basis I will compute the income? Will I compute the income on accrual basis, and will I compute the income on cash basis? This should always strike. This question should always strike in my mind whenever you get a question of PGBP, accrual or cash. If P&L account is directly given, had there been P&L account given, it is by default assumption that this P&L account is on accrual basis. We only rectify that P&L account, just like we did in the last question. But since cash account is given, that means assessor is following cash system. So I have no choice now. I have to follow cash based system. I cannot compute on accrual basis because information is not given. I have to compute the income of PGBP under cash basis. Now there are two options to compute the income of cash basis. First, I will prepare the P&L account on cash basis as per Companies Act. Then I will rectify that P&L account as per Income Tax Act. This is one task. Second option, why should I prepare the P&L account as per Companies Act? Because that is not my job here. Why shouldn't I directly prepare the P&L account as per Income Tax Act? Are you getting my point? Are you getting my point? I have given you two cases. First, PGBP is required in this case because assessee is a professional, so PGBP income is required. Then, if PGBP income is required, the question is, should I compute it on cash basis or accrual basis? I cannot compute it on accrual basis because cash account is given. Now, if I have to compute on cash basis, I have two options. How should I proceed? First, prepare wrong P&L account. Wrong in what sense? Wrong because of tax department policies, but correct as per Companies Act, and then rectify that P&L account. Second option, why there is a need to prepare P&L account as per Companies Act? Directly let us prepare the correct P&L account as per Income Tax Act. Kindly answer, kindly raise your hand if this discussion is clear. If this discussion is clear, please raise your hand. Shall I repeat the discussion? Shall I repeat the point? Okay, now can you suggest me what option I should follow here? First, shall I prepare the P&L account on cash basis as per Companies Act and then rectify it? Or directly I shall prepare the P&L account as per Income Tax Act? So what do you suggest? As a rational person, what should be your approach? What should be your approach? Kindly unmute and reply. What should be your approach?
So directly prepare as per Income Tax Act.
Yes. that is the only approach or best approach. Why should I prepare the P&L account on cash basis as per Companies Act? Because right now you are acting as a person of tax department. So your job is to directly prepare P&L account as per Income Tax Act. So let us start preparing P&L account as per Income Tax Act. I will share with you the Word file. I hope you have the question now with you. So let me share Word file now. I'm directly preparing the P&L account. So let us see the question, or I should start the question directly from adjustments. So what is the other information? First point, depreciation of furniture is admissible at 10% per annum. The furniture is put to use on 17 July 19. How much is the cost of furniture? Can you tell me the cost of furniture? Anyone who can tell me the cost of furniture? Anyone who can tell me the cost of furniture?
28,000.
Very good. Cost of furniture is 28,000, but I cannot debit. If you remember, I cannot debit the actual cost of capital asset. I can debit only depreciation, and depreciation rate is 10%. It is acquired in the previous year and put to use for more than 180 days. So how much will be the depreciation which I can show on the P&L account? How much depreciation I will show? How much depreciation I will show? So I have started computing PGBP income. Can you tell me how much depreciation I will show? On furniture. You can prepare it just like T-shape, or I am preparing in this way also. Flat 10% of rupees 28,000. This is my first point, 2800. I hope it is clear. Next point. If not clear, you can anytime unmute and ask me. Next point. 20% of car expenses are for personal purpose. That means how much is for official? 80%. Whatever is the total expense of car, 20% personal, so 80% is what? Official. Right now I am preparing the directly correct P&L account. Since I am preparing the correct P&L account, I will show only correct things. So I will include in my expenditure 80% expenses of car. How much car expense is given? How much car expense is given? 122,500 multiplied by 80%. See, had it been wrong P&L account, I would have added back 20% of personal. Had it been wrong P&L account, what is my approach? Only add back disallowed things. But I'm not adding back anything. So I'm directly computing correct things. So if I'm directly computing correct thing, I will directly show correct values. In the P&L account, normally we add back what? Incorrect values. But in this case, there is nothing adding back going on. Directly you have to show correct things. So you will show correct values. So 122,500 multiplied by 80%, 98,000. And check any other expense of car given in the question. Any other expense of car? Not in the P&L account, but C point says what? Depreciation on car 135. Depreciation on car 135. Multiplied by 80%. Because 20% car is for personal use. So I have to multiply it by 80%. One lakh 8,000. Any problem you please ask. Point D. Fees due but outstanding. Fees due but outstanding. It is my income, but I will not record it here because I am not preparing the account on accrual basis. I am preparing the account on cash basis. So if it is due but not yet received, then I will not record this as income at all. I would have recorded this as my income had I prepared my account on accrual basis. Next point, income from other sources. So for the timing, my job is to compute PGBP, but let me note it down somewhere that when my PGBP will be over, I will add income from other source. How much? 3,70,000. Next one. He purchased a computer for 50,000 rupees on 10th March 19. 10th March 19. It is, however, put to use on 3rd December 19. 3rd December 19. And what is the rate of depreciation? 40%. Can you tell me the treatment of point F? Anyone who can tell me the treatment of point F? Anyone who can tell me the treatment of point F? Anyone?
Sir, 40% reduction shall be allowed as a depreciation.
On what amount?
Sir, on the amount that is the value of computer.
Computer is under which block? How many blocks are there?
Sir,
Intangible, tangible assets. There are 3 blocks tangible: building, plant and machinery, and furniture. So computer is a type of plant and machinery. Is it clear?
yes, sir.
So yes, but why 40%? It should be 20%, I think.
Sir, because it was purchased in the previous year 2018-19.
Yes,
So
very good.
once
Yes.
yes, sir.
Though it is used for less than 180 days, but it is not acquired in the same year. So when these 2 years are different, purchasing year and use year, then you don't apply the concept of 180 days. You have to charge full rate. So I will charge how much? Depreciation on plant and machinery. How much? 50,000 multiplied by 40%, 20,000. Now, though I am preparing the account on cash basis, but depreciation is a non-cash item, still I have to show it. Okay, depreciation, though I am preparing my account on cash basis, so there should not be any confusion in your mind that why we are showing these expenses. All expenses of section 30 to 35 DDA, 36, 37.1 and 37.2b, they are to be shown in any case. So it's a compulsory item. Depreciation you cannot ignore. It is not optional. Even if you are preparing the account on cash basis or accrual basis, depreciation has to be shown. Do remember this point. Don't get confused that since I am preparing the account on cash basis, why I am showing it. Though I am preparing the account on cash basis, I will record my incomes on cash basis, expense on cash basis. Technically, it is not an expenditure. In reality, you don't pay this to anyone. So you have to show it because it is a part of your expenditure category item. I hope the point is clear. Do remember this thing. Now adjustments are clear, and let me come to the P&L account. Debit side balance brought down. It is a cash opening balance. It is not at all my income. Fees from client. Yes, it is an income. It is my professional receipt. Fees. I am preparing the account on cash. I will not check which year fees I am receiving. Whatever I am receiving, that is taxable. So how much is taxable? 1060 plus 45. That will be 11,05,000. Present from client. Can you tell me what is the treatment of presents from client? Is it your income? Present from client. Is it your income? Anyone who can throw a light on this concept logically. Is present from client an income? Is present from client an income? Anyone who can throw a light?
Sir, should it be Sir, should it be income from other sources?
No, it is an income or not? This is my question. I'm not asking about the head. Is it your income? Answer is yes. Fees from client is an income and present from client is also an income. If you say that presents will not be treated as income, then no advocate will receive any fee. They will say to the client that don't show it as fee, you simply give me as a present. So government says whether you receive it with the word fee or whether you receive it with the word present, it is always your professional income, not other sources, but it is an income. I have to show this as my business income, professional income, presents from client. that is 20,000. Next one, loan from client. Is it an income? Anyone who can tell me? Anyone who can tell me about the treatment of loan from client? What should I do with this loan from client? I received a loan of 50,000 from a client. What I should show? What should be the treatment logically? Anyone who can tell me this? Loan from client.
So it shouldn't be an income.
Yes, loan is not an income. Logically, it should not be because you will pay it back. Presents and fees you never pay back. So loan is not at all income, no treatment. Next item, loan from PPF. Next page, next item, debit side, loan from PPF. From my provident fund, I have taken a loan. Can you tell me the logically what should be the treatment? Is it your income? Loan from your own PPF account, is it your income? In cash account, it is shown on the debit side, but right now I am computing income. Is it your income? Loan from PPF, is it your income?
No, sir.
No, because you have to pay this back to the Provident Fund Authority. So that is not an income. So my income concept is over. These are my gross receipts, 1125. 1125 less. Now I am computing these less items are these. So adjustments are over. Let us see the credit side. Purchase of furniture, treatment done. Car expense, treatment done. Office expense, yes, it's a genuine expense. Office expense under section 37(1) it is allowed. Office expense is how much? 10,000 allowed. So I'm not adding back anything. So I'm directly allowing only relevant items. Salary to staff, no issue. It's a valid expense. I have to pay salary to staff to run a business. 441. Next point. Office rent, it's a genuine expenditure. 20,000. Income tax penalty. Can you tell me the treatment of income tax penalty? Is it my expenditure? Can I show it on the debit side? Anyone who can tell me this? Income tax penalty.
No, sir.
Why?
Sir, because penalty, whether it is of the indirect tax or the direct tax, it is not allowed as a deduction.
Why? Where it is written?
Sir, it is given under one of the sections of Income Tax Act. I don't remember that section.
Section 37 subsection 1. If you remember 37(1), there was a condition. It is not prohibited by law. It should not be an offense. So when you are paying some penalty, that means you have not followed the provisions of law. So these are disallowed things. All these penalties are disallowed. I cannot show this as an expenditure. It is my fault. Contribution to PPF. It is not a business expenditure. You can claim for your contribution deduction under section 80C. Subscription towards a notified deposit scheme of a public sector company engaged in providing finance for residential houses. I don't know whether you remember it or not. It is a point written in section 80C. For this also I will get a deduction. The question is almost over. Now this is my final PGB. This is the final PGB. This is the final PGB. How much is this PGB? Can you tell me this?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, this depreciation on computers, the computer has been put to use for less than 180 days. So why are we giving the full rate?
But when it is acquired, is it acquired in the same year in which it is put to use for less than 180 days?
No, sir, it's acquired in the previous year.
So then when these 2 years are different, then you don't apply the concept of half rate of depreciation.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so 4,25,000. Is this answer correct? Let me check this. 425,200. Yes, 4,25,200 is what is the PGBP income. Add income from other source. How much? 370. Total becomes gross total income. $795,200 less deductions under section 80C. If you remember, you have to revise 80C yourself. PPF is allowed under 80C. Subscription. This for a notified deposit scheme of a public sector company which is engaged in long-term residential providing finance for residential house, that is also a valid deduction under section 80C. How much is this? It is so PPF was 20 and it is 6. The question is over now, and the final answer is 769,200. That's it. Any problem if you want to ask, please ask. The chapter PGBP is 100% over from my side. Any problem if you want to ask, please ask. Otherwise, raise your hand. Okay, so that's over from my side today. Now we will be meeting now day after tomorrow on Thursday. I'm giving you 1 day complete break. Revise PGBP, wind up PGBP from any book, any material which you have right now with you. From wherever you want to revise PGBP. From my side it is over, and I am sure that you won't get any question of Becoming Semester 3 outside than what concepts we have discussed in our lectures. And day after tomorrow we will start a chapter, assessment of firms. In this PGBP chapter, which you will study from any book, you won't find the case of a partnership firm. Anyone can do a business, firm can also do a business. So normally you will find the cases of individual HUF or companies, because for firms we have section 40 clause B, which I have not yet discussed. Otherwise a firm also has to follow the same provisions of PGBP. Same section 28, 29, 30 to 35 DDA, 36, 37 subsection 137 2B, 40 clause A, 40 capital A, 43B, 44 ADA, 44 AD and 44 AE. Same sections a firm also has to follow, but firm will be having one more additional section, 40 clause B. So I will discuss on Thursday assessment of partnership firm. Basically I will discuss nothing in that chapter. I will only discuss 40 clause B, and then I will discuss with you numerical cases. So in 2 days, Thursday and Friday, we will wind up the chapter partnership firm, from which we will be having a numerical of 15 or at least 12 or 13 marks in the final examination. And the timing of Thursday I will tell you later on. So Ekta, you please send me your mobile number. I will add you in the WhatsApp group of this class. And timing which I will tell you later on is because on that day Eid is there. Okay, so if it is possible, we can shift our classes in the morning also. So all of you please tell me, is it because I also have my training program going on, so I don't know whether on Thursday they will be having my lectures or not. So whether I will be having my classes or not on Thursday. If my classes are not on Thursday, then we will be meeting on Thursday in the morning. Is it clear? Kindly unmute and tell, is it clear what I have just told you?
Yes.